How can we add to the power of option for a calculator? Let's see. This is how to learn Scratch programming language. The Scratch programming language is free, fun and easy to learn. Most programming languages are text-based, so a learner has to gain experience writing the code, but Scratch program is easier as it uses blocks. The learner selects blocks, puts them together and runs the program in a simple way, making it the most fun and easiest way to learn programming. Make sure you subscribe, then you'll know when the videos are released. Here's our calculator, and now we want to add this extra function of to the power of. So how do we go about doing that? To start off with, we need to ask for the power of. We're just going to ask for P. So if the user enters P, we're going to do the power of. So we need to get two numbers the same as our other code. So let's duplicate that, and then the other code will remain the same. Okay, so at the start we've got if answer equals P. We get the first number, we get the second number. So what do we ask for? We ask for enter the first number please, and we can just say ask for the number, the first number to the power of, and then question mark equals. So that's the first number. Second number, once we've got A, we're going to say to the power of equals, and when we join them we're also going to say to the power of. Might want to leave some spaces. Right. So that's our getting the user to say they want to the power of, and also correctly saying the numbers to the power of. So how do we actually do the calculation? Well, we need an extra variable. So let's create another variable called power, which is going to be our answer. So we've got power. So what happens when the user enters, let's say the first number is 3 and we want 3 squared, so they enter 3 and then 2. So we want to get the first number, we want to multiply by itself the amount of times of the second number, if that makes sense. So let's look at a loop. So we're going to loop, and we're going to loop that the second amount of times, and then we're going to set the power to equal basically the power multiplied by A. So for example, let's say we've got the number 3, so we set 3, and then if we want it 3 to the power of 3, then it will be 3 times 3 times 3, which equals 27. Now we're not going to include to the power of minus numbers or power of 0, but what happens if we've got to the power of 1? So that will just be the number. So we need an if statement. Actually, we can use an if else statement. So if B equals 1, so we've got the equals. So if B equals 1, then we can set, we've got the wrong operator there. If B equals 1, then we set to the power of to equal a. You can see here that using a and b sometimes makes it a bit more difficult, whereas if you have a proper name like power, then it can make it a bit easier when your code gets a bit more complex. So what we're saying is we've got the first number, which is a, and it's to the power of b. So if we've got like number 2 or 3 or 4 to the power of 1, it's just going to equal 2, 3 or 4. Now if we've got a number like 2, if it's to the power of 2, it's going to be 4, to the power of 3 it's going to be 8 and 16 and so on. Now we can see here we've got set power to power times a, so we have to set power first of all. So let's set power to a. Now this isn't completely correct, but we're just going to show you how it works first. So at the end we're actually just going to say power for 5 seconds, because that's going to be the answer. So we've added the code. So this is not the complete code yet, but we want to show you what happens when you experiment. So you need to test your program. So here, let's test. We put P in. Okay, enter the first number. So let's say we've got 3, and then we want 3 squared. So 3 times 3. So 3 to the power of 2 equals 27. That's 3 to the power of 3. So that's not correct. So when you're testing, you can see if there's any errors. These are called logical errors. So what's the problem? Well, the problem here is that we set power to a, and then we multiply that 2 times. So we've got 3 times by 3 times by 3. So this repeat is wrong. We don't want repeat b times. We want, because we've already got b once, we want repeat b minus 1. So we set power to a. So if we've got number 3, if we want it squared, we only need to multiply it another 1 more time. If we want it cubed, we need to multiply it another 2 more times. So that's actually to the power of minus 1, like to the power, which is 3 minus 1. So it's 2 more times. Okay, so let's try that again. So we want 3 squared. Let's try it. So let's enter P. Enter the first number. Let's try 3. Second number we want squared, so we enter 2. 3 to the power of 2 is 9. Okay, let's check if we have something like 5. Oh, we need to enter P, don't we? So P, enter, let's say 5, and we want to the power of 1 because we want to test our program. 5 to the power of 1 equals 5. Good. Let's try P, enter first number. Let's try 2, and to the power of 10 would be about 1024. 2 to the power of 10 equals 1024. So that's correct. So we go back just to look at our code. So we gave the option to the user to check P for the power of. We get the first number, we get the second number, the same as the code we did before. But here we've got a new variable called power. We set the first number to power, and then if it's 1, we just make power equal the number. If not, we repeat b minus 1 times. So if we had 2 to the power of 10, we start off with 2 and then multiply it by 2 9 more times. So that is just set power to power times by a. So that's, and then we say power at the end. So that's the full code. So let's just make that a bit smaller so you can see. There we go. So that's how to add to the power of to a calculator. Well, we hope you enjoyed that. Now, if you're interested in learning more or learning other programming languages, then please subscribe. And every time a video comes out, if you hit that notification bell, then that will let you know. So enjoy your learning.